Welcome to Fragmented Pixels. In today's video, I look at 4 of my favorite fighting game user interfaces. Most of these are from the early 2000s. Irrespective of that, here are 4 of my favorite ones I've come across. Tekken 4 is one of my favorites when it came to art direction and presentation, and it's only added by its crisp new millennium leaning design. Visually, the user interface is simple. When you hover over it, it changes color into this orange sheen, nods to the 4 in the Tekken 4. But when you get into the character select screen, the character select screen is one of my highlights for this game. We have these cerulean blue accents and we have these panels for the character renders, as you can see. Very angular, quite crisp and clean. And underneath the panel we see a reflection and we have this metallic flooring. As we see, we have this cloudy, cool, smoke-like effect coming in. So visually, I think it's the most sleek, and it does remind me of, again, the Y2K era and sci-fi. Additionally, we could look at the sound design of this game, from hovering over modes, when you get to the ending screen, this gritty industrial sounding confirm sound. I mean, heck, even says on the versus screen, in which the sound design for that was done very nicely. I love it. Very impactful. It says at the bottom, a new century of fighting, going for this approach, especially if you look at all games from this period of time. They really outdid themselves with the visual presentation of the game and what to expect from Tekken 4.
Finished already? Please.
In regards to sound design, I'll be very honest, I love the sound design for this. The transitions in this game are so clean. I was shocked at how seamless all these transitions were.
Form up your team.
I think the mixing could have been a lot better because there are certain elements that should have been quieter and others, like the music, it kind of clashes with the sound design. That's an improvement that I think could have been made with this game. But outside of that nitpick, I think the user interface for this game is supreme, but it may be not for those who have motion sickness, right? Nodding to the 2000s, the newer era, this element of optimism that's showcased with the UI. Again, it has a sci-fi look to it when we look at the shapes, quite angular, curved. It has that gritty tournament feel. It seems to reference LED flashing lights. We have this nod to television screens. It's quite postmodernist because it deviates from what you would expect from a UI. There are complex elements like backgrounds moving, and we have different typefaces for different things. That would not be considered great in modernist terms. I love the almost kitschy elements of it, but I think it still holds today. Again, robotic voice, sci-fi style.
Just groove. Do you like?
I think personally it's cool for a few minutes, but then it does get a bit annoying. Even the continue / game over / name entry screen, I love that. It's like the end of the tournament and you have these little TV screens and the way it all comes together and pans out. But outside of that, stunning visual presentation. Virtua Fighter 4 is another great example of cool, crisp, sleek, very 2000s again, design. Again, it has those sci-fi futurist elements that I mentioned before when it came to Tekken 4. Looking at this user interface is so beautiful. I like that when you hover over each mode, it creates a ripple water effect. As that occurs, as you see that on screen, this robotic voice repeats the mode that you've hovered over.
Sounds. Settings. System file.
Results. Options.
I think it's a great touch. Nodding to that early digital age, we have this panel that also showcases the mode that's been hovered over. The accents of white, the accents of blues, earthly environmental colors. When you get into the character select screen too, oh my gosh, it is so crisp, so clean. I also love the movement of the clouds across the screen as you hover over the character. You know, if we even get further, it kind of reminds me of Windows XP. The menu and how it looks, I guess because it came out around the same time. Shouts to Windows XP. That was a great OS. Now, the reason why I love this user interface and the menus itself is because it tells a story. It feels like I'm opening a book into the new stage of history. It opens a book and you go through each section. It references 15th century old school time, so it's kind of like a hodgepodge. It's based on fantasy, but the way it's approached with this user interface design is tastefully done. And there's something about having water rippling in the background. A lot of these elements give Soulcalibur 3 such interactivity that I don't think I've seen previously with the Soulcalibur series. The way the water ripples when you get into the character select screen, that there's this nice cloudy background, and it depends. It could be a blue sky, it could be a sunset sky while you're selecting a character. And yeah, I agree, the booth physics were too much and veering into Dead or Alive territory. But my god, this was probably the pinnacle of Soulcalibur UI design. When you get into the character versus screen, I like how when you press a button, they see a no context phrase.
Versus Keelik.
Come on!
And of course, the sound design.
New stage of history.
Select a mode and it has this sword sound. I love that detail. Just the overall presentation is amazing. It's crisp and I love it. And those were 4 of my favorite fighting game user interfaces. These aren't the only ones. I'll be going by category and looking at some of my favorite interfaces from certain games that I've played or even come across. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video.